Now back to part two. So in this part two, we're going to learn about water. Firstly, when we talk about water, I'm just explaining in my own words first. Water is very essential. Of course, you need water for drinking, isn't it? Now, why is Earth called as blue planet? Because it has nearly three-fourths, means 70% of water, which is blue in color. Of course, it looks like that from space, so it's called as blue planet. We know this. Now, in this water, in this 70% of water which is covered, in that 100% composition let's take, and in that only 2.7% is fresh water. Under that 2.7%, only 1% is presently available for human consumption, and other leftover percent is the glacier, or it could be ice sheets in mountainous regions or polar regions or near the poles, North Pole and South Poles. The fresh water is the most precious thing we have. There's of course a scarcity of it, but the amount of water never gets added or subtracted because it remains constant. Reason is a process or a cycle called water cycle. I guess you people know about water cycle. So in this water cycle process, there are many things like evaporation, precipitation, and condensation. This is a cycle which goes on, and by this you get your water. And of course, water is used for many purposes. You can't say it's totally used. It's totally required. Now for this, of course, many countries are facing, water availability, like in Africa, West Asia, South Asia, parts of Western USA, Northwest Mexico, parts of South America, and entire Australia are facing shortages in fresh water supply. There are many reasons for it. Of course, there are many reasons because, might be these countries are susceptible to the areas where the conditions are very hot and the droughts takes place there constantly. That's the reason there's a scarcity of water. There are many reasons, and when you talk about conservation of it, you have to adapt many things. You have many many things to which can work. Okay. And of course, we have many things like drip irrigation, trickle irrigation. Now, of course, you will be like, what is drip irrigation? What is water harvesting? What are sprinklers? So these are few things which, like water harvesting is another method to save surface runoff. Okay. And canals also. Wait, canals part was there here. I just skipped it or what? Yeah, I didn't skip it. It's there. It's here. The canals are used. Canals are also used to irrigate fields. Even sprinklers, you know how to sprinkle something like that. Those water sprinkler you can see over here in the figure 2.9, and even drip irrigation is also very useful when evaporation is there in high rates outside. Now, when we talk, let's just get back to natural vegetation and wildlife topic. And yeah, I guess my screen isn't shared. Yeah, I guess so. Just let me share it again. Yeah, so we were in natural vegetation and wildlife. So basically in this chapter, it's all about, you have to know what is a biosphere. The biosphere, it is a narrow zone of contact between, lithosphere, which means land, hydrosphere, which means water, in atmosphere, which means, of course, air. And together, it is a zone, it's a narrow zone called biosphere. Now, ecosystem is a life supporting system. Okay, we know what is ecosystem because there are, in this ecosystem, the animals or the species, okay, the species are in relation with their with the other species and their environmental habitat. Okay. Now, of course, when we talk about uses of plants, uses of vegetation, there are many things. Could be for oxygen purpose, shelter, or could be for making many products like latex, turpentine, oil, gum, many things. We have many things. Even wildlife includes animals, birds, insects, as well as aquatic life forms. They provide us milk, heat, height, and warmth. Insects like bees provide us honey, help in pollination of flowers, and have an important role to play as it decomposes. In the ecosystem, the birds feed on insects and act as decomposers as well. Now we know about decomposers. Similarly, we also have many uses of animals. Now let's talk about distribution of natural vegetation. So yeah, now when I talk about distribution, the natural vegetation is distributed on the basis of few areas. Now in grasslands, you have grassland kind of vegetation. In scrubs area, you have it is mostly in the dry region, tundras in the cold region. So, and now here too we have there in areas of heavy rainfall, huge trees may strike, of course, and it's all about grasslands, forests over here, and in tundra vegetation. We learned about tundra vegetation too in a previous class. Previous, I think in seventh. The Yeah, we learned in seventh class, I guess. And when we talk about conservation of natural vegetation and wildlife, of course, there are many steps. Nowadays poaching is happening. You can stop that poaching, okay? Because poaching can lead to a species which can be on verge of extinction. Now, there are different factors. Okay, there are different factors, human natural factors, which actually which actually increase the pace, okay, which actually increase the pace of the process of extinction of wildlife. you know and one thing is that to overcome it, what we have to do is national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, biosphere reserves, such kind of protected areas should be built. Now, about this, we learn in which chapter? Which chapter? Conservation, plants and animals, seventh chapter. We know what are national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, and biosphere reserves. They are somewhat which protects these animals. Now, of course, when we talk about balance in the environment, it could be disturbed even if one species is extinct. Now, when dinosaur was extinct, there was some imbalance in the ecosystem, but it took a lot of time to overcome it. That's the reason humans might have been born. Some, some changes happen in this ecosystem. Like we don't know, few changes happen. Now, for example, tomorrow if tiger is extinct, or sheep, or a goat, or a chicken. No, the eggs of a chicken which we eat could be, what do you say? It could be rare. Okay, even chickens, what we eat, chicken curry and all, it could be rare. Even if from sheep, whatever wool we get, or from silk moths, whatever silk we get, that will also become rare. It becomes a world with extinct species or endangered species. Do you want that? Endangered species, extinct species, in the sense, it means that extinct life. Reason is, if plants are in endangered or extinct mode, because plants give a lot to us, they give oxygen to us. So that's the essential part. So that's the reason. If no plants and animals, of course, humans can't sustain. If all are there in this environment, we can make up this. What is it? We can make up this environment. Sorry. Now, the International Convention Cities has been established that lists several species of of animals and birds in which trade is prohibited. Conservation of plants and animals is an ethical duty of every citizen. You have to keep it in your mind. It is an ethical duty of every citizen. So we come to the end of the chapter. This was a nice chapter in the sense, isn't it? So one thing is that a small message, guys, actually on November 26th, on November 25th. Yeah, it's on 25th November. So actually, if you people know about the great educationist Sadhu Aswani and his main motto is to stop killing animals. Okay, the main motto is stop all killing of animals, because they do have their own feelings. So we have to think in that way for the conservation of. So I just want to spread about it. One thing is that it has a nice mission. It is a really good mission. You can even refer. I'm from that school itself. So it's not the pride that I'm supporting my school, but the mission is really fantastic. And you can see the videos and practice being, you know, you can practice avoiding meat most of the times. If you're a non-vegetarian, you can practice avoiding it most of the times, and also try to be a vegetarian, because I myself, I am a non-vegetarian, but still I try my best to avoid it. But I hope you understood this chapter, guys. Thank you and have a nice day.